Hey, a very pleasant September morning to everybody. We're out here in eastern New Hampshire, kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I believe at the base of what you might know, what some people might call the Moose Mountains. You know, out near Lake Winnipesaukee, in a really lovely habitat that I'm going to take the time to show you in just a second. Right in front of us, we get our target species. Why I'm out here. This is a Corallorhiza odontorhiza, one of the coral root orchids. A parasitic orchid, an achlorophyllous orchid that produces essentially no chlorophyll, no leaves, rather opting to parasitize, typically I believe, off of sapotrophic mushrooms, so mushrooms breaking down the very, very rich duff here. And typically, these are weird enough for that alone, but typically this species does not produce chasmogamous, meaning open flowers, instead producing nothing but a tiny little spike, and you'll have to believe me, this thing is diminutive, a tiny little spike of closed flowers, cleistogamous, self-pollinating flowers. Quite a few of them around. Another one right there, covered in the sundew. Get another one back there, kind of all over the place. Not really as hard to spot as I thought. I got tipped off on this spot by a good buddy of mine, who was the guy that I was checking out Malaxis Bayardii with, very knowledgeable about the orchids of the Northeast. Let's take a look. These are just very, very small, delicate flowers, but this is producing. Come here. There we go. Those open flowers there. You can see ovary developing just behind it. These are actually epidendroids, so these are in, what many would consider that showier, quote, highly evolved. You can even get the little spotted labellum there. Quote, highly evolved, subfamily of orchids. But, I mean, this thing is just super cool. And, I mean, the duff we're in right now, very, very rich. We're beneath some hemlocks. You've got beech trees. You've got hobblebush, viburnum lantanoides not going off, but here in a very, very rich, lush, almost sort of wetland swamp behind me, filled up with hemlocks, which is a nice type of habitat. You do get some interesting stuff out here in this area. I don't really have too much else to show you, but this is a pretty, fascinating orchid, and I just felt like I've been dropping the ball. I wanted to hit the ground running, in September. And I think it's a good place to start. Corallorhiza odontorhiza tooth root. I guess it's got some analgesic properties, the root. I don't know what the efficacy of that is. And, cool to see the open flowering variety. Pretty incredible how this thing essentially just, participates in life almost like a virus. It just kind of hangs out and does nothing but reproduce and just goes back into its little root. Let me show you another one, a bigger one over here. Yeah, this one's a little bit hardier, a little bit further along. It's really hard to see. Hopefully the lighting is not absolutely terrible, and you do get an idea of what's going on there with those flowers. I think that's about as good as we're going to get. What an interesting plant. 3 species of Corallorhiza in New England. 1 in New York. It's pretty rare. Trifida, which is all blooming it. 1 blooms pretty early and is pretty green. Corallorhiza trifida, the early coral root. Then you get Corallorhiza maculata, which I've done an episode on before. You can go see that. And this is the 3rd one. Corallorhiza odontorhiza. You get Corallorhiza striata, which is a bit showier than them. Pretty rare and pretty much restricted to New York, but not terribly uncommon out west, as I understand. It's pretty nice. And of course over here, evidence of a rich, fertile duff. You get some depleted monotropa uniflora over there, some depleted ghost pipes, a mycoheterotroph in its own right, also achlorophyllous. Let me show you what the hell. Let me show you a 3rd achlorophyllous parasite over here. We got the beech trees. We get some nice epiphagus, which, you know me, I talk about that all the time, but just standing up. This is still pretty early in the morning. You don't get that proper lighting. This is a plant you're not going to see. Not super showy. Just incredibly fascinating. Show you the habitat. What are we working with here? So, habitat here is super just rich and moist. This leaf litter is actually pretty damn thick. You can kind of see where I sunk into it right there. Lots of hemlocks, eastern hemlocks, Tsuga canadensis. Lots of beech trees, Ficus grandifolia. So, you know, supporting a robust community of mycorrhizae, healthy soil community. Actually, some of these, yeah, there's a big one right there. Oh, they're everywhere. Yeah, once you get tuned in on what these Corallorhiza, odontorhizas look like, you start seeing them everywhere. And indeed, probably having a banner season this year, just due to all the rain we get. So I'll clarify if these are, you know, I know that maculata tends to go after the sapotrophic mushrooms. Maybe these are going after mycorrhizal mushrooms. I'm not too sure, but they're not really, as evidenced by how they look, doing much of that photosynthesis, you know. I'll give you a couple more close-ups. This will be a short video. Short video, but hopefully an interesting one. A really cool species. Yeah, there you go. What that? Labellum hanging out. Oh, I guess the water drop was kind of manipulating the appearance, but you won't find a single leaf on the thing. They do have, you know, kind of almost like a colline bract, but that stem is red. And I guess your only real hint of green is those ovaries. Really, really fascinating plant, dude. Oh, hang on. Get the camera back in the proper mode. I'm not sure how much of a difference that makes, but the mosquitoes here are absolutely vile. I will give them that. Yeah, there's some still in bud. These are the latest blooming orchid in New England. I mean, these are going off now. You know, we're about a week into September. But, you know, I guess these stay pretty much in bloom until October. So, yeah, we'll show you Epiphagus, and I gotta head to Boston after this, so no real need to dilly-dally. But, yeah, some real nice hemlocks here, too. I love hemlocks. More of that habitat. It's rocky. It's very, very rocky, very wet. It's about the gist of it. Hey, there you go. Now I can get a much better shot. Show you what's going on in that flower there. Can I get in any more with this thing? Sometimes I just don't know, you know. There we go. Look how nice that labellum is. You get your labellum, you get what looks like your column and pollinia up there. No clue where your sepals and your, you know, lateral petals are, but you know what? This thing's so small. I think they're all just reduced. I can count 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4, 5. So you got the 5 sort of reduced petals, and the sepals up there on the top, and then that white spotted labellum below. Kind of similar to what Corallorhiza maculata looks like, just heavily reduced. How about that? Okay, we could talk about this guy too, because he's kind of doing almost a little imposter type thing with fuck, why can't I remember now? The Corallorhiza, odontorhiza. So this is Epiphagus virginiana. This is not an orchid. This is in the bromide family, Orchid. This is a parasite of plant roots, though. This guy is tapping into the roots of only Ficus grandifolia, and also kind of similar to Corallorhiza, odontorhiza. This is also doing cleistogamous, so the closed and open flowers, chasmogamous, on the same plant. Not the same, not two different subspecies, but you get these nice little candy cane inflorescences. These are the open flowers here. A little stigma sticking out there, if you can tell. And then if you scroll down, you can see those are some of the chasmogamous flowers, and this one especially so. There's a lot of debate to whether those, you know, open flowers are even, you know, receptive to the pollen of other plants, if this is even, you know, still exchanging genes, so to speak, or if this was a genetic dead end. It's not true for Corallorhiza, because there's numerous species in that genus. However, this is a monotypic genus. So perhaps, you know, this poor guy was an evolutionary dead end. I'm certainly not qualified to say, but as you can tell, just a red stick coming out of the ground. Talked about this plant extensively on this channel. Not a terribly rare one, and a considerable bit bigger than that Corallorhiza, odontorhiza. Got some cool asters going off too. I believe that that's a not Symphyotrichum cordifolium. Is it a Eurybia divaricata? Is that what you are? Are you Eurybia divaricata? You might be. Can never tell. It's got cordate leaves though, which is kind of throwing me off, but I'm pretty sure this is just Eurybia divaricata. Solidago bicolor going off here too. In fact, where was that? I'll show you that Solidago. Over here. Another one of those, I'm pretty sure that's Eurybia divaricata. And then you get your Solidago bicolor. Your silver rod, just starting to come out for the season. Pretty common in this area, as you can see. You know, typical goldenrod leaves, but those white flowers on the Solidago, especially here in New England, immediately give it away. It actually just caught my eye though. Something else in the family, Casey. Oh, no, that's not what I thought it was. That's okay. Anyway, I was getting kind of vibed out by someone that owns property over here, so I think I'm just going to take a couple pictures and we'll call it a day. This was described as, quote, deliverance territory, if I hadn't already said that, by a buddy of mine, so yeah, I'm not too keen on sticking around much longer. You just get another little Solidago coming out of the bud there. So anyway, hopefully that was something at least moderately interesting to you. You know me, I like the parasitic plants, I like orchids, so it's only natural that I like the parasitic orchids, especially the weird cryptic ones. And Corallorhiza, odontorhiza is not super rare, but it is infrequently spotted.